Chapter 4, Graphs and Transformations, Part 5, Translating Graphs. In this video, we are going to looking translating graph. Describe the translation of the graph for y equals fx. Fx equals x squared. First, we are going to draw the fx graph. So fx equals x squared. This is a quadratic graph. So I'm going to draw the quadratic graph. 0, y equals x squared. We need to draw the graph y equals fx plus 3. So let's see how this graph is going to be changed. So y equals, our original fx is x squared plus 3. So the x value is not going to be changed. Y value is increased by 3. So how we can draw this graph? I'm going to draw this one. This is x, y, this is 3. So original x value is not changed. When x equal to 0, the y value is 3. So the graph is moved this way, upward y direction. So y equals x squared plus 3. This is fx plus 3. That means if the constant is adding or subtracting outside the function, the graph moves vertically. It means the graph moves y-axis, up and down, up or down. So the translation, x direction, the graph is not moving, so 0. Y direction, the graph moves by 3, so 0, 3. So next question, y equals fx minus 3. So the y, so y equals, original fx is the x squared minus 3. So I'm going to draw the graph first. 0, this x-axis, y-axis. So when x equal to 0, the y value is negative 3. So here, negative 3. X value is not changed. The y value is changed. So the graph is going to be this way. So this is y equals x squared minus 3, or y equals fx plus, minus 3. Minus 3. So the constant is outside the function. That means the constant is outside the bracket. So this graph is moving vertically or up or down. That means the translation, x direction the graph is not moving, so 0. Y direction the graph moves downwards by 3, so negative 3. Next question, y equals fx plus 2. That means the constant inside the bracket. The constant is inside the function. So y equals, wherever x, we need to put x plus 2. So new x is the x plus 2. So x value is now changed. Y value is not changed. So draw the graph. 0, y, this is x. So y value is not changed. When y equals 0, what is the x value? It's negative 2. So negative 2. So the graph is going to be, when y equals 0, x value is negative 2. So then new graph is move left or right. So if the constant is inside the bracket or the constant is inside the function, the graph move left or right. So this, let's label this graph. Y equals x plus 2. Translation. The graph moves x direction negative 2, y direction 0. So negative 2, 0. When the inside the bracket, the constant is positive plus 2, the graph moves left side, opposite direction. So negative 2. Move the negative side. It means the graph moves horizontally, left or right. Next one, y equals fx minus 2. So x going to be x minus 2. So x minus 2 square. Let's draw the graph. Now the constant is inside the bracket, so the graph moves left or right horizontally. So when y equals 0, what is the x value? X value is 2, positive 2. So x value is positive 2. So the graph moves right hand side by 2. So this graph is f. Let's label this one, y equals f x minus 2. You can see when the constant is negative, take away, the graph moves positive side. The translation, x direction the graph moves, so positive 2. Y direction is not move, so 0. Pause this video and try it yourself. So describe the translation of the graph for y equals fx. Fx is given, fx equal to x squared. So our x plus 1 is equal to x squared plus 1. So let's draw the graph. The original graph is like this, 0, 0. The minimum point is 0, 0. This is fx equal to x squared. Now the x value is not changed, fx is not changed. So new fx, so x value is not changed, y value increased by 1. So the graph moves by 1 y direction vertically. The graph y equals fx plus 1. The constant is outside the bracket or outside the function. The graph moves up or down. So the translation is x direction graph is not moved, so 0, y direction plus 1. Next one, y equals fx minus 1. So fx minus 1 means original fx is x squared minus 1. So the graph is going to be move downwards by 1. This y equals fx minus 1. The translation, x direction the graph not move, so 0. Y direction the graph moves downwards by 1, so negative 1. Next one, y equals fx plus 1. So the constant is inside the bracket. So the fx plus 1. So wherever x, you need to put x plus 1. X plus 1 square. Now draw the graph. So y values not change, x values change. Okay. So when y equal to 0, what is the x value? X value is negative 1. So now draw the graph. 1. So y equals fx plus 1. So the translation, graph move left hand side by 1, so negative 1. Y direction the graph not move, so 0. Next one, y equals fx minus 3. So fx minus 3 is equal to, wherever the x, we need to put x minus 3. So the x minus 3 squared. So draw the graph. The y value is not change, x value is change. Okay. So when y equals 0, what is the x value? It's positive 3. So the graph moves right hand side by 3. That means the graph moves horizontally, positive direction. So the graph, let's label this one. Y equals fx minus 3. So the translation, graph move positive x direction by 3. So 3, y direction not move, so 0. Fx equals x minus 1 times x plus 2. The first question, write down the equation of y equals fx plus 2. So the fx is given. We need to find the fx plus 2. So the fx plus 2, fx plus 2, wherever the x is there, we need to put x plus 2. So the fx, x minus 1. So first x, I'm going to put x plus 2, then minus 1. The second bracket, x plus 2. Wherever x, I'm going to put x plus 2. So x plus 2 for x and plus 2. Now simplify this one. X plus 2 minus 1 and plus 1. And second bracket, x plus 4. So this is the equation y equals x plus 1 times x plus 4. Now sketch B part, sketch the graph. This is 0. When x equal to 0, what are the values? Negative 1. Sorry. When x equal to 0, y value 1 times 4, which is 4. So the coordinate 0, 4. When y equal to 0, what is the x value? X equal to minus 1 and minus 4. So I'm going to write the coordinates. Y equal to 0. X value is minus 1, 0, minus 4, 0. So minus 1, minus 4. So sketch the graph. So the graph comes like this. Graph cut y-axis 0, 4 and x-axis minus 1, 0 and minus 1, 4. This is the new graph y equals fx plus 2. And find the third part, find the coordinates of the graph across the axis. So the coordinates minus 1, 0, minus 4, 0 and 0, 4. Next question, write down the equation of y equals x plus 2. The constant is outside the bracket. So fx plus 2. So wherever x, the x is same. So x minus 1 times x plus 2 and fx plus 2. So add plus 2. So x is not going to change here. So now expand this bracket. X squared plus 2x minus x minus 2 plus 2. You can simplify. So x squared, 2x minus x plus x minus 2 plus 2 cancel. So if you want, you can factorize x times x plus 1. Now sketch the graph. This is 0 and -1. So when y equals 0, the coordinates 0, 0 and -1, 0. When x equal to 0, y also 0, so the coordinate 0, 0. So the graph comes like this way, goes like this. This is the y equals fx plus 2. Third part, find the coordinates of the graph across the x-axis, and y-axis. So x-axis is 0, 0 and -1, 0, and y-axis also 0, 0. Pause this video and try yourself. If x equal to x squared. So first question, write down the equation of y equals fx plus 2. So fx plus 2, the constant is inside the bracket. So wherever the x, you need to put x plus 2. The equation is y equals x plus 2 squared. Now sketch the graph. When x is 0, y is 4. When y is 0, x is -2. So the original graph, fx equal x squared. So this y equals x squared of fx. The new graph, y equals fx plus 2. Y equals fx plus 2. You can see the graph. Original graph is that's the x-axis 0, 0. Now the new graph fx plus 2 is moves left hand side by 2 because the constants is inside the function. So the graph moves left hand side. So the coordinates, graph cut the x-axis -2, 0 and y-axis 0, 4. Next one, y equals fx plus 3. The constant is outside the bracket. Fx plus 3 equals, so x is not going to change. So x squared is same and plus 3. So the graph, original graph is here 0. This is y equals fx. This is the original graph. So now we need to draw the fx plus 3. So the constant is outside the brackets. So the y value is going to be changed. So new y is y equals x squared plus 3. So the graph moves upward by 3. So the graph moves like this. So y equals fx plus 3. So the coordinates 0, comma. The graph not going to cut x-axis, but only y-axis. You can see the difference. The first question, inside the bracket, the constant. So the graph move x-axis or horizontal axis. When the constant is outside the bracket, the graph moves vertically up and down or y direction. X equal 1 over x, the reciprocal graph. First I am going to show the fx equal 1 over x. So the graph will be asymptotes, x equal to 0 and y equal to 0. Asymptotes. This fx equal 1 over x. Now write the equation for fx minus 1. So fx minus 1. So x is not changed. So 1 over x. Fx is 1 over x and minus 1. So the equation y equals 1 over x minus 1. If y equal to 0, 1 over x, 0 equals 1 over x minus 1. So 1 equals 1 over x. So x equals 1. So here y is 0, x equals 1. So this graph, new graph, y equals fx minus 1. So the constant is outside the bracket. So the graph is going to be move vertically up or down. So the negative one. So this graph move downward by negative 1. So the new graph shifted by negative 1. So this is y equals negative 1. So the asymptotes move downwards by negative 1. So this graph is y equals fx minus 1. This one also y equals fx minus 1. So the graph cut x-axis, x equal 1. Graph cuts x equal to 1, comma 0. So the asymptotes y equals x equal to 0 and y equals minus 1. So the asymptotes x equal 0 and y equals minus 1. Next one, sketch the graph of fx plus 2. So fx plus 2 So that wherever the x, you need to put x plus 2. So the equation y equals 1 over x plus 2. So when x equal to 0, y equals half. Equal to 0, y equals half. The original graph is 1 over x. It's like this. This is y equals 1 over x. Now the graph, you can see the fx, y equals fx plus 2. The constant is inside the bracket. So the graph move axis over the vertical, or the horizontal direction. So here plus 2, so the graph moves opposite direction, negative side by 2. This is negative 2, negative 2. So this is x equal to negative 2. So the graph cut the y-axis half. So the asymptote is negative 2. So the graph comes this way. So this is the graph y equals fx plus 2. Y equals fx plus 2. So the graph shift left hand side by 2. So the new asymptotes x equal minus 2 and x equal to minus 2 and y equal 0. Next video will be covering chapter 4 part 6 stretching graph. I hope you found this video helpful. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.